What's up, everybody? Welcome back another week. Hope everyone has had a fantastic week so far. Hope everyone's weekend was good. Hope y'all did some fun stuff. If not, hope everything's been good. Hope y'all been keeping it positive. My past weekend's been pretty fun. Me and Josh, or Josh and I, for all the people, grammar Nazis out there. Our weekend was pretty fantastic. It's a long weekend, but it was fun.
It was one for the books. Daniel over here had me babysitting him a couple of nights out of the weekend. You know what? I'd redo it if I had the chance because I love this guy. But it was not fun in the moment, as I can say. But I had a great weekend overall.
I kept you on your toes, Josh. That's what
Definitely
I'm here for.
kept me on my toes. And
It was past due. It was about your time.
It was not necessary, but I guess we'll take it. We'll take what we can get.
It was your time, bro. Everyone has their time. When it was your time to pick up the torch, and I had to pass it to you, and I'm glad you took it and held on to it with pride. But
well, if I didn't take it, then you would have lit yourself on fire with it, and that wouldn't have been good.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning back in. This is Far From Finished with your favorites, Daniel
and Josh.
Thank you for tuning in. If you're new, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in.
Boobity boobity bop.
Alright, so this past weekend, it was very interesting. Started off what we do, went to Austin.
So basically on Thursday night, I was waiting all day for this fucker and our other best friend Carlitos to get off of work so we could jet out to Austin, stay at our friend Savannah's house or apartment up there. She was kind enough to let us stay. Shout out to Mama Savs.
Yeah, sorry if we left the place a little dirty.
It was Daniel's fault. If you're listening, this is Daniel's fault. Daniel's fault.
I cleaned up, actually. I feel like more than any of you. So.
Fuck no, I cleaned up more than any of you. And Los did the dishes. So I feel like we all did a good amount.
Okay, I cleaned the pot.
What pot?
That you made the mac and cheese.
Oh, big deal.
Okay, so we went to Austin. We ended up getting on the scooters. That was a great time. The scooters riding around. Checked out a couple places. I haven't ridden a scooter before like that. They catch some speed, man.
Yeah,
I was bunny hopping off of some stuff.
I fell off another one, busted my elbow.
Oh, you did fall off again.
Fell off another one, busted my elbow. That was not the business either. But hey, we take what we can get. Like
this
I
is
said,
his first rodeo.
It'd be like that sometimes. At least it wasn't on my face this time. This was just my elbow. We'll be fine.
Last one was tough.
Last one was more than tough.
Ended up hitting up 6th Street was where it got a little crazy. That's where I definitely thought I was going to pace myself, but things got a little wild.
Things got a little out of hand for Daniel here.
But, I lived to fight another day, and we made it through. Got some sleep that night. We actually didn't get to stay out there that long, so we ended up heading home the next day. Weekend itself, great memories. Got to see a lot of old people. I had a baby shower, which I've never done. And yes, not a diaper party. Daniel, hit a baby shower, which was both his family and her family. Played some games. Drank beer out of a baby bottle. Try to chug beer. That was the game.
I'm almost convinced there's no such thing as a diaper party.
It's just something that someone invented.
Yeah.
Nah, I know. People know what it is, though.
Really?
A diaper party?
Because, I've never heard about that until, Robbie and then had one.
I asked somebody else, I said, what's a diaper party? And they answered it, and that was at work. So I'm assuming that it's more than just an us thing.
Fair enough.
But, people are confused when I said I went to a baby shower. It was both of his family. We had food. They had brisket, sausage, beans, rice.
Sounds
we played a few different games.
Lit.
We played a game where we announced the baby's name.
Damn.
It was pretty cool.
Well, the reason that we came back from Austin so early was because we were trying to get back to my mother's house because my brother was going to have a big blowout party for his 24th birthday. It was a week beforehand, but he was trying to get everybody together. So we were trying to get back in town for the party. Ended up a 3.5 hour drive from Austin to Houston turned into a 6.5 hour drive.
Yes, sir.
Because somebody decided to have I-10 go into one lane for about 20 miles.
Then we went 45 minutes out of the way. No offense to you, Carlos. But
Bro, we were in the car for so fucking long. I hated it. It was
Not the worst trip, but it wasn't the best. I slept a good 4 hours of that, so I wasn't complaining.
I was awake for most of it. It was not great.
It definitely could have been better. It was a great weekend, though. I wouldn't have spent it with anybody else. A lot of lessons learned. Learn that, you put in some effort, you get a lot out, and sometimes you don't got to put in any effort, and sometimes you get rewarded. You never know.
That's very true.
But, it's always the people that you're around that make the situation better, and I couldn't be any more thankful for the people that I have around me, and hopefully if some of you have people around you that you love, and if you do, you should tell them you love them every day. Tell them how thankful you are and how grateful. I mean, you don't always have to because I'm sure they understand, but every now and then it's always good to tell them you love them because it does make a difference, and I'm sure, it helps the relationship. It never hurts.
Most definitely. You got to keep that communication flowing steady, especially if you care about these people.
Exactly. And the good thing about this weekend that I love too is I may have gotten it out of hand, but they accepted me for who I was and the things that I do, which is one of the biggest reasons I love them, because I'm not going to say I'm the most average person. I do some weird things, and I do my own thing, and we don't always have stuff in common, but the fact that they accept me for who I am, I'm grateful for that, because I definitely do some off-the-wall shit, but they do too, don't get it twisted. They definitely do as well.
Fair enough. But also this weekend, another touch to add to this glorious weekend we had. Me and Daniel also attempted to complete the Hot Ones challenge.
Daniel and I.
Fuck you and grammar.
Okay.
How about that?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But basically, instead of doing all 10 sauces, we just did 6. Well, I did 5 because I couldn't fucking bear that shit. About halfway. First of all, they held the shit out of me. Definitely held the shit out of me. They assorted the plate wrong to where instead of going like the least hot to the most hot on the sauces, they assorted it wrong to where I had the third hottest one first while everybody else started with the least hot one. And I was over here sweating off rip. And everybody's like, damn, Josh, you gonna be all right? And I was like, I hope so. Like, I hope it doesn't get worse than this. And by the time I ate the third one, I could taste how it was barely any spice in that hoe. I was like, this the first one. Somebody switched my shit.
This man's face was terrible. If y'all could have seen it, this man scared me. I think everyone was scared to eat the sauces after they saw his face.
At one point, there was a dire mistake made whenever I took a napkin that I had accidentally wiped sauce on and used it to wipe my sweat on my face. It continued to have a rash grow on my neck and my face and make my lips swell. It was not fun. It burned my face for a clean hour.
Man looked like Boo Boo the Fool.
Felt like a clown, looked like a clown. At the end of the day, I was a clown.
It hurt me looking at him, to be fair. But it was a good time, and let me tell you, the bomb, if you ever try that hot sauce, that is not the business.
If you ever try it, don't try it. Try to not do that. It's not the move.
If you eat it for fun, you are a psychopath. That's all I'm saying. Don't eat that sauce. You are 100% a psychopath if you eat that sauce. It was a fun to do the challenge.
It literally said on the bottle, use 1 drop at a time of the hot sauce. Use 1 drop at a time with extreme caution. Like,
it definitely doused the wing in hot sauce.
They definitely fucking what is it called whenever you mix wings like together and they toss the wings in this fucking hot sauce, and it says use 1 drop with extreme caution.
You think this man made a mistake? I definitely after I grabbed the wings with my hands, I went to pee in the restroom, and let me tell you, I used the hand that I didn't clean off, and that was the biggest mistake. Intense burning for at least the next couple hours. Not fun. Swollen
Genitalia.
For sure. 1 out of 10. Terrible. Not 1 out of 10 pain. Definitely 8 out of 10. 1 out of 10 I would recommend.
Oh, okay.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Wouldn't do
Make sure you wash your hands, folks, after you eat incredibly hot sauces.
Incredibly hot sauces. It was a fun time, though, with good people. I mean, I didn't really know half of the people very well, but the people that were there, I had a good time with, and I really enjoyed. We all got a little weird, and for that, I'll accept it, and I'll take it for what it is, at face value. At face value. Oh, man. But, going back to the weekend, one of my favorite things about Austin is the fact of, I mean, it's, the whole motto is keep it weird. I don't think it's as weird as it once was. I don't think it's as big of a thing as it once was. I mean, it still is, and I love the energy that they have there because everyone kind of has their own vibe. You know what I mean? Everyone's kind of doing their own thing for the most part, out there for their own reason.
Right.
And it's a little bit of a change from around here. I mean, I love the Houston area. Don't get me wrong. I'll always have a love for Houston. I'll always have a love for our hometown, Dickinson. I've met a lot of awesome people. I've done a lot of awesome things, but something about the energy over there to me is just a little bit different. Because I mean, no matter where you go, people are gonna judge you. You know what I mean?
Right.
People are gonna have something to say about what you do, or feel some type of way of how you do things. But for some reason, to me, up there, it's probably still somewhat the same, but just a little bit different. It's a little bit more accepting of how you are and who you are. You can kind of be more free to what you're doing because of just what they've surrounded their city around.
I'm sure even if it's not like as accepting, it's like the thing that it is up there is just going to be more people like intolerant of like somebody not accepting somebody, like somebody being racist or sexist or something like that. A lot of people won't tolerate that there as much as other places.
I mean, I'm sure it's still there.
I'm sure it is. What I'm saying is like there's an increase in the intolerance of that shit in that city, at least in my experience, like what I've seen.
It's same here, and I mean, judging people anyways, I feel as though is something that shouldn't be a big deal. Because I mean, if someone's going to do something, unless it's really bothering you, and I don't mean bothering you because you don't like the color of their shirt. That's one thing. I don't care if you don't like the color of my shirt. You can keep that to yourself. But I mean more so in the sense of if I'm coming up to you and saying something, or I'm really doing something to physically affect you, or if I'm coming into your life and making your life difficult. If I'm going to do what I want to do, allow me to do what I want to do. I feel as though too many people judge people for their opinions. Which, don't get me wrong, some people's opinions are forceful opinions, and that's when it can start to affect people's lives. But you shouldn't judge people just because they're different. I don't understand that.
It makes no sense because it's like, for you to say somebody's opinion is bad or wrong or they can't think that because of this or because it goes against your beliefs, that's you basically giving somebody else the exact option to tell you that believing in what you believe in or thinking what you think or having your own opinion is wrong and you can't do that because of this. And it's like, you're just running circles around each other at that point.
I think people want to believe that their opinions are facts a lot of the time, and the thing is when you get into a conversation, people want to say your opinion's wrong. Well, who's to say your opinion of my opinion isn't wrong? You can't tell someone.
You have to have a fact to back up your opinion. You know what I mean?
But not all opinions are going to have facts.
Okay, well, the thing is okay, put it this way. If you have an opinion that doesn't have any facts to back it up, if I have facts to prove your opinion wrong, then your opinion is wrong. I mean, and unless you have facts that prove my facts wrong, like, you know what I mean? Like, there are such thing as opinions that you can't necessarily prove, just like religion. Like I believe in God, but I can't see him or do this or that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can't prove that, you're giving somebody else the option to say, I can prove this and that about evolution, and I can prove this and that about the Big Bang Theory, and I can prove this and that. Like all of this proof comes up in science. To where it's like, okay, you can believe whatever you want, but if you don't have any proof, then I guess it's like fair for me to say that you're wrong, right?
That's true. And I was having this conversation with my grandma actually today. She was talking about the Bible, and I believe in God, but the thing, what I was trying to get across, because they were talking about how everything right now is so crazy, it seems like the end times are coming. You know, it seems as though what's it called? Is it Revelations?
Armageddon.
Yeah, but it's the book of Revelations. Oh, okay. And she was talking about it, and they were telling me to read it, and I was telling them I would give it a read. But what I was also saying is that it's a man-made book written. Right. You know, it's written. How many times is that revised? it's revised so many times. Man, I wish I had the facts real quick. I don't have my phone on me.
It's like some it comes all the way from like Hebrew writing in the Dead Sea Scrolls or some shit like that.
From even the earliest book that we have, it's in a British museum, to now, it was at least, I want to say it was around 148,000 revision. It's revised 148,000 times.
Oh my god.
Just from that to the King James version.
Oh shit.
So who knows from the time King James revised that to now how
That's
many
what
times.
I'm saying. If you have a book that basically runs the world, I mean, as far as Christianity goes, like, wouldn't the people who are in charge of running the world be in charge of revising that book? And if that's the case, who the fuck are they?
And the thing is all about perspective, and it's based off of opinion because it's how you perceive the writing. And what I was trying to get across, because we were talking about it, and I was saying how I wanted to read the Quran, and she was saying, because she's a big time, Christian, because that's how she was raised, and she was always raised that way, and she wants to believe that there is something after this, which I completely respect and understand, and I hope there's something after this as well. But the fact is, I was saying that religion isn't much different than ours, so what makes Christianity right? Because someone wrote that book as well, and they have a lot of similarities to the same God. They have a prophet, details may be a little bit different, but that was written first.
Right.
And she was saying how there's radicals in that religion. I was saying there's also radicals in Christianity. Yeah. There were the Crusades.
More people have died in the name of God than from any disease ever.
So exactly. So in each religion, you can't say this is right or this is wrong because you don't believe it and they do. That's your opinion.
Right.
But what I'm also saying is you should hold true to your beliefs, but you shouldn't let that affect how you view your opinion affect how you view other people per se. In that sense, if they want to believe that their God is this type of person, who are you to tell them that they're wrong?
Nobody. But that's what I'm saying is like for you to say that an opinion can have you can have opinions that don't have facts based that. You can have opinions that are not based on facts. That's true, as they're called beliefs and faith and things like that. But the thing about that is that you have to be willing to allow other people the option to say, well, if you don't have any facts, then I can't believe what you're saying. I mean, you can believe it all you want, but what reason should I trust what you have to say about this if you don't even have facts to prove what you're saying? If these other people who have like I was saying, as far as science goes, they have facts that prove what they're saying. You know what I mean?
And in that sense, I want to say that people, these aren't necessarily facts. It's just my perception and what I see.
Right.
So
Same.
you can question me, and I feel free to question me. I urge you to question me in anything that I say, because that's going to get you thinking anyways. But when people have certain opinions and facts are presented and they want to say no, or they see something they don't like, and they say, no, I don't like that, and they make it a point to try to get onto somebody because they don't like what they're doing or how they do a certain thing. It's not necessarily because of something that they thought of for themselves and they were thinking, because if you really were thinking that for yourselves, you would dig deeper.
Right.
You would try to find the answers for yourself, and you would try to really see what the real answers are, not just because necessarily that's how you're raised or what other people around you are doing or what other people around you are saying. I feel like a lot of the times that's how we base ourselves off of, is what other people are doing or what other people are saying or what the majority feel. Because, around you, let's say you grew up around Muslims or you grew up around Jewish people. That's how you're going to grow up. Right. Unless you really sit there and think to yourself, what do I really want? And do your research on what you feel as though is the best thing for you. And it's hard to do that sometimes when you grow up in an environment that is a certain way, because that's where you're going to have tendencies towards most of the time.
There's a difference between having opinions and judgments that you've formulated on your own and having opinions and judgments that have been formulated for you. Your parents are always going to have power in your life. You're going to respect what they have to say to you. That's an opinion and a judgment that's coming from two separate sources, if you have both parents in your life, God willing. But at that point, you're already out of control of your own opinions and judgments. If you're listening to your parents and doing everything that they tell you, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that.
You should listen to your parents
to a
degree.
Right. What I'm saying is that if you're not taking what they have to say into consideration and formulating your own opinions based on the information you have, and maybe you might agree with them, but a lot of times you probably won't. If you're not doing that, then you're not making the judgments or opinions for yourself. You're letting them be made for you. And at that point, you're basically not allowing yourself to be human. You're allowing yourself to be controlled by a human, even if that human has good intentions for your life and wants the best for you.
And that's understandable. And another perspective I have to come from, though, with that being said, is when people have certain opinions or they want to judge you for what you do, is, for instance, I love to rave. I love going to raves because I love the music. That's what I really go for. Is I love the music. I love to listen to it. But people have exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna love everybody that goes there because everyone's gonna be different. It's a lot of different personalities, so you're not gonna click with everybody.
Brads and Chads.
You got certain people, but for the most part, I have always enjoyed myself when I do go, and that's mostly because of the music as well. And you do meet a lot of awesome people, but with that, like when I go to these things, I'll wear fanny packs, or I have that small backpack that I own,
or some fishnets.
I've worn fishnets, yeah.
Or a cheeseburger.
I dressed up as a cheeseburger, yeah, exactly. People have, and when you go, no one says anything. It's okay, that's cool. If anything, you're getting compliments 95% of the time, and it's freeing in a sense because you're allowed to wear whatever you want and be whoever you want because I know who I am.
Right.
And no one's going to tell me who I am.
Nobody can tell you who you are.
Exactly. And no one can tell me who I am. But I've had moments where I wear that small backpack, I wear a fanny pack, and someone, is that a van? Or is that a backpack? Wow, what is that, a purse? And to me, why? Like, what would bring you to say that? Do you care so much of what I'm doing?
No, I think it's more the insecurity within themselves to not have the attention if they think that you might be taking it away from them. Like, what if, like, put it this way, so, like somebody's girlfriend says, "That's a nice backpack, Daniel. I like it. Where'd you get it from?" And then her boyfriend just going immediately because his girlfriend's talking to you now. He's gonna immediately go into this. Oh, is that a purse, bro? What is that, bro? Like just because he's jealous that his girlfriend's talking to you at that moment because he's an insecure person. Most people, if they don't like what you got on, they probably won't tell you shit. They probably just won't acknowledge it. They'll probably just leave you alone. Somebody that acknowledges it is going out of their way to tell you something about your outfit. Obviously, you wouldn't have put it on if you didn't like it. You wouldn't have bought it if you didn't like it. You wouldn't have spent your money that you worked hard for if you didn't like it. So if somebody gonna come up to you and be like, "Damn, what the fuck is that, bro?" That's them acting like a doofus.
And I'm not saying that opinion affects me, but that's a point where an opinion could start to affect somebody because you're going out of your way to say this to somebody when you have your opinions, of course, and your judgments, but what's the reason to judge somebody for doing something that's not affecting you?
Right.
Because their opinion is they like what they have on, they like what they're doing, and you can say whatever you want, but if you don't know that person, what do you really have to say? And what is your opinion worth at that point? What is your reason behind saying that?
Right.
If you're going to go ahead and say something, because you know to a degree what your words hold, you can say, "Oh, that's just a joke," but if we're not on that level necessarily, and I don't know you that well, how much of a joke is it really? Because there's a certain tone behind your voice, and our words hold certain meanings. So, in what sense when it's positive or it's negative? Because if you really were to feel a certain type of way, you would say, "Hey, I really like that," or "Where'd you get that?" Or if you were really curious, if you were actually really curious on, like, why would that person wear that? You would ask them, what made you buy that?
Or like,
I wouldn't wear it, but I'm kind of interested on why you would get it, and if that is why you would get it, I respect that because that's you.
Yeah,
if you respect that person.
I feel you, bro. That's how it should be, but people act like idiots a lot of times. People feel the need to be heard instead of just enjoying the life that they have. People want to squawk, 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 squawk. They just want to let their fucking mouth be fucking heard, dude. Shit's funny. Paying attention to people that don't know how to conduct themselves is funny as fuck.
It's crazy just how people grow up a certain way, or they have this mindset and they live in their world so much that they can't see another world outside of what they see.
Well, that kind of applies to a lot of things. I mean, like, if you look like at gang culture, like if you grow up in like a place where your brothers are all in the same gang, and you know that once you turn 13, you're getting jumped into the same gang. It's like you have the option to say, no, I'm not going to do that, because I mean, you can do that, but like at the same time, it's not that easy. It's not so simple to just say no. There's a lot that can happen to your family in that culture. There's a lot that can happen to you in that culture. It's like it might take you running away and never seeing your family again to get away from that. And that's tough. A lot of people can't like strengthen their own mind and their own body and their own like environment enough to get that option like going. But the thing is that that's pretty much the only option that they have if they don't want to go into the gang culture.
But sometimes all they have is the gang.
That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes that's your family.
Don't get me wrong.
Sometimes it's your family.
Don't get me wrong. There are certain like groups of like gang culture people that don't have any violence involved or drug use involved. That's actually positive. They get the community together. They help each other out. I'm not saying all gang culture is bad. What I am saying is that it's pretty much across the board something that's like it's not the easiest thing to get in and out of. And once you're in, it's the hardest thing to get out. And trying to get out of something that you were never trying to get in, just based on like, if you have to like try to get out of something that you're not in, you already know that you're fucked. Like,
and for me, I can understand that. Personally, I wouldn't want to associate myself with someone in a gang per se. I mean, I could, because you never know. Those people, some of those people have good hearts,
right?
And some of those people are really, really smart.
Right.
It's just something that they, from a young age, had no other choice. And that's another thing is it's hard to understand that or perceive that, and you want to judge, oh, these are bad people or terrible people.
But you don't know where they come from.
You don't understand what their life has been, what they've had to go through, if they've lost their family, and all they have left is the gang as their family because their parents died or their parents were locked up. Sure. They don't have brothers, they don't have sisters.
Shit's tough, bro. I have some family members that was in some of that shit. It's not the business. It's not the business. In and out of jail all the time.
It's tough.
But
it's hard to understand where other people are coming from or their life sometimes.
But you also have like these people, like these majority of the time it's the people of the Caucasus, the white people out here, fucking out here talking about like, oh, it's like they're like basically not understanding. I'm trying to be funny, but I can't think of it right now. But
fair enough.
But they don't understand. It's like basically these people are out here talking about like, oh, like that's how it is. But like I don't care. Like it has nothing to do with me. Like they shouldn't have been robbing that store. Or they shouldn't have been like basically like whenever there's like gun violence, most of the people are like, oh, it's just gun violence. But like, why do you think this person had to use a gun? Do you think it was for the fun of it? Sometimes it is, but most of the time it's because they were probably threatened with a gun.
There are some people that are kind of crazy out there.
Right, but most of the time it's probably gonna be somebody. If somebody's gunned down in the street, that person is probably either scared shitless because they're getting chased with a gun, or they just killed somebody and they're scared shitless now because they just got a body and they don't want to go to jail. Either way, none of these situations are good. Nobody wants to do this shit. It's the way that their life got them to this point. They have to do this shit. It's like it's do or die. Like some people, like they say, like you see these videos of people in Chicago, like going up to their friends, like with their gun, like why are you out here why are you out here naked without your pistol? Why are you out here? Why you don't got your pistol on you? You lacking? Why are you lacking right now? You're my brother. I don't want you lacking out here. If I can pull a pistol on you and you can't pull one back on me right then, right there, if you can't defend yourself, you're dead. You're dead in the streets out there. And that's how people don't understand.
I mean, they can't. It's hard to understand when you're not there. That's a lot of the issues with this country and with the world in general. It's hard to understand something you're not a part of. That's not directly affecting you in the first place. And that's why it's easy to point a finger and say, oh, those people are bad. Or, oh, look at those people. I can't believe you would do that. Just imagine someone who's grown up rich their whole life.
Right.
You're eating a cheeseburger, at a fast food restaurant. Some people, oh, you eat like that, or you're eating with your hands, or you're eating like an animal,
or you're drinking tap water. People are just like that too.
There are people like
people
that.
are just like that too. You're drinking water from the tap. How, like, what? Are you a hooligan? What's wrong with you? Like, what's going on here?
We're so quick to point fingers and we want to judge. But reflect on yourself. And it's hard because if you haven't come from that, you haven't experienced that, you don't know what it means to be that, and all you know is a certain thing, it's definitely hard.
Think about the people sitting in like a war room in the fucking Washington, D.C. that are ordering drone strikes, that fucking bombing people.
It's not them.
They're so disconnected from that. It's a button on a screen. It's killing a person,
families,
or people,
children,
yes,
women.
I think that's what I'm saying. People are so disconnected
sons.
from the opinions that they have and the judgments that they make. Shit's crazy as fuck. People are out here living like fucking wild animals.
We are wild animals. We just have a little bit better living than a wild animal, but we still act like it sometimes. Natural instincts. You would think after a while of seeing certain things, we would try to take our time to understand. And this is something I'll give to all of you. If you have the time, if you're listening right now, take the time to understand something that you might not necessarily understand. Take the time to understand someone or ask questions about someone you're interested about their culture, or you're interested about why they do certain things that you may not like, or something that you're just curious about. Maybe you should actually go out of your way and ask questions and figure these things out instead of sticking to yourself and just blatantly being disrespectful or making quick judgments that when you really don't know what they're going through, or really don't know what their life's about, or really don't know what they've grown up with. Because the chances are they might think the same thing about you, so y'all are over here not liking each other, but that's just because it's a misunderstanding and miscommunication between the both of you. So if you don't take that time to really get to know each other, or really take your time to questions, and y'all can agree to disagree, but at least, you're learning more. You're coming to a better understanding, and you may not understand at that moment per se, but over time, you might grow to understand.
You have to allow that person to want you to understand. You can't just force somebody to tell you this and that, and you can't just force things down people's throat. You have to come from a good, genuine place, talk to somebody and be like, yo, I want to understand where you're coming from. I might not agree with you. I don't have to. I have determined judgments and opinions on everything that you're about to say, but I want to hear it anyways, and I want you to tell me why you feel that way, and then I can talk, and I'll let you know about why I feel how I feel, and what I feel about how this affects me, or how anything like that. Is you have to come from a genuine place of understanding. Lay it all out on the table. What do you want to do? Who are you? Tell me all about it.
That takes a lot, though. That takes courage.
It does. But it also takes honesty. You have to be honest with this person, and you have to be honest with yourself. You have to really be honest with yourself and tell yourself, I understand how I feel, but fuck that. I'm gonna listen to this person and understand how they feel for a few minutes.
Putting your pride aside to a certain.
Right.
I think we got lucky, though, where we grew up. We grew up in a really diverse place with a lot of different types of people.
Honestly.
Majority pretty much middle class. You might have had some people that had a little bit more money, but for the most part, I feel as though most of us were on a similar level, even if you were lower class.
Had some people on both sides of the spectrum, but for the majority, like you said, we were all pretty much in the middle.
Like, really, none of us really had money like that. We had some, and we had roofs over our heads, and
we've been blessed to grow up comfortably.
Yeah, to a degree. And you did have people that maybe didn't have as much, but some of those people didn't. I mean, maybe there were a couple, because I didn't see all of it, but for the most part, no one was too disrespected for not having.
Right.
Nothing.
And we all helped each other out, too, like, as much as we could, like, especially when Harvey happened and shit like that, and basically destroyed the whole town. We all came together. We all tried to help as much as we could. We did the most for the community as we could. And shit was tough. It was a tough time for everybody.
It was a tough time for everybody. And we recovered losses. And I always have love for this town. And
for
what
sure.
It's taught me and what it's taught us, and bringing us together in general, and all the people that we've come in contact with. Shout out to everybody who I've ever met or have had connections, had relationships with. Y'all are awesome. And I appreciate every single one of you. and I don't take any of it for granted in the least.
We have regrets, but not many. And that's something that we can rely on. We have great people in our lives that help us understand the mistakes we make, and help us understand the glorified achievements that we have in our life, and let us feel great about ourselves when we deserve to, and let us feel shitty about ourselves when we deserve to. There's nobody's perfect, but what's perfect is allowing yourself to feel everything, every up and every down. Having people around you that want you to feel down because they understand it is the only way for you to get back up.
And taking the time to truly understand yourself, be vulnerable, and taking the time to understand those around you. And I think you should all really take the time to learn to love yourself a little bit. And if you don't have people like that, it's okay. It takes time. Find yourself first. Do what's best for yourself. I'm going to say this a lot throughout the entire length of this podcast.
Yeah, for sure. It's something that should be repeated, though.
Progress.
For sure. The thing is that the minute you stop settling for bullshit people and bullshit things in your life, the minute you find somebody that actually gives a fuck.
Because somebody will, man. There's a lot of people with big hearts. There's a lot of people. No one's going to be perfect, so you can't expect everything to go your way all the time, or people to, fall at your knees or fall at your feet and just do everything for you and everything to go your way. But you can find people who will love you unconditionally and will be there for you, but don't take advantage of that either.
The fact is that things aren't supposed to go your way. You're just supposed to work for them. That's just really the only way to do it. Nobody can ever do it for you. You gotta put the work in. You gotta figure out what you want to do, what you want for yourself, and just get to it. Figure it out.
Well, we're going to wrap this up, so just remember, before you judge, before you quick to say something to somebody or assert your opinion because you think you're right, ask some questions. Get to know that person. Ask questions to yourself. Take a deep breath. Reflect on what you're really talking about. And if there's no facts, pull up the facts if you really got facts. Don't just start blurting out stuff because you think you're right. Start pulling up facts if there's facts, but start asking questions too. Y'all should be asking questions. Nice discussion doesn't always have to be an argument. You shouldn't always think you're right. The best thing is to assume you're wrong and ask questions. You can always still state your opinion. Assume you're wrong, though, because that's the only way you're truly going to learn and grow.
For sure. And if you assume you're wrong, then at that point you are learning. But if that's okay, I said that wrong. If you assume you're wrong, whenever you are able to prove your point and make your point become right, it feels that much better. Not only are you learning and feeling the knowledge within your own brain, but you're also putting knowledge into somebody else's, and that shit feels incredible. Also, don't be afraid to fact check yourself. That shit is imperative. A lot of people are out here just, like he said, blurting out fucking bullshit. That shit means nothing. They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about half the time. Get your fucking facts straight. If you don't know what you're fucking talking about, shut your mouth. Every time. And guess what? This is Josh and freaking Daniel signing off, and we're far from finished.
Bless up to everyone. Love y'all.